Hey everyone, my name is Steele and you're in the training room. In this video, I will be talking about fundamentals in Counter-Strike and why focusing on developing strong fundamentals is important. Everything you will ever learn in Counter-Strike will be built upon your fundamental skills and understanding of the game. You learned a new tactic, your fundamentals will come into play with routes, timings, and crosshair placement. Fundamentals will stick with you throughout your entire journey in Counter-Strike, so learning them early on is important. I could bang on for hours about fundamentals, as there's quite honestly so much depth to Counter-Strike and so much to talk about, but I will try to focus on a few crucial but non-obvious concepts. Everyone already knows about crosshair placement being essential, or knowing how to shoot weapons precisely, or how to airstrafe and jiggle peek. This video isn't about that. This video is about the little things that add up. One of the trends I see consistently successful top teams, that being teams that are in the top 5 or 10 in the world, is that they are converting rounds where they have the first kill close to 80% of the time across all maps, and converting rounds where they suffer the first death 30% of the time. This means that either through their own efforts or their opponent's mistakes, they are able to stay composed and control the flow of the game. This requires discipline and composure to make the correct decision, whether you're a man down or you got the opening pick and are feeling a second kill. If you're a man down, looking to get an equalizing kill might be your first instinct. A 4 versus 4 is very manageable, but be careful, a 3 versus 5 is not. Having the discipline and composure to slow down and assess the situation and make a calculated next play that your teammates will be able to capitalize on is a fundamental skill that is crucial for success. Another trend that is quite noticeable is the ability to identify when rounds are not winnable and straight up cutting losses. I was watching a game that Navi was playing. Navi was playing T side of Inferno and lost a player early on in the round while trying to take map control and find an opening. With about a minute left on the clock, Navi, still in a 4 versus 5, is split up around the map looking for an opportunity or a way back into the round. Edward gets leg shot to 15 HP, and the rest of Navi is still unable to find openings at A or at B. As Navi is dwindling down on utility and time, they opt to group up and save in the apartments together. Navi understood in the situation that the chances of them winning the round was going to be, statistically speaking, less than 30%. They made the decision to cut their losses by forfeiting a probably lost round in favor of having a second try in the following round. I don't think I've seen this sort of play come out from a lower skill team in my 10 years of playing CS competitively, but this is the exact type of gritty decision making you'd expect from veterans. When you watch Navi play, you don't see them with a huge strat book with different plays. You see 5 players, not 5 superstars, just 5 players. But what you do see is fundamentally sound decision making, with all of the players understanding their roles and buying into the system. Another thing that Navi does really well, and especially simple, is understanding the importance of sound cues. Navi is a team that is very default heavy. This means that in most rounds, they'll try to take control of the map slowly while minimizing the risk of losing a player early. If all of the members of Navi showed themselves, then their opponents would be able to have an idea of what Navi was trying to do and would then be able to defend against it. Hearing is just seeing, but with your ears. The way Navi is able to stay so successful with their defaulting is because they only have a couple of players making noise across the map. Using Inferno as an example, Navi can be working both apartment/middle and banana at the same time, but the way they do it is they only have one guy making noise towards the middle apartments and one guy making noise towards banana. This allows them to have up to 3 players grouped behind the player making noise without their opponent knowing. If their opponent wants to get curious and peek for information, they'll get punished for it. This keeps their opponents humble, and Navi, through their slow and composed play, is able to instill a sort of fear in their opponents. Other examples of sound cues include fallback fake footsteps, intentional missteps, grenade pin pull fakes. Tradable kills is also another huge part of fundamentals. It's why good T-side lurkers and CT-side oppers are so annoying to deal with. Knowing when you can advance in a position and take a duel is part of having strong fundamentals. Going 1 for 1 rifle versus rifle on T-side in a 5 versus 5 is acceptable in most situations, which means that going 1 for 1 CT side is not acceptable. On CT side, you want to get a kill and stay alive, or you want to get 2 kills if you die. This is what makes opping on CT side and doing pick fall setups so strong. On T side, you want to always be with a teammate that is able to trade your death, or you want to be sure that you're not offering a free kill to an enemy. If you're not with a teammate, for example, if you're working underground as a T on overpass, you'll want to use sound cues in your teammate's info to know if it's safe enough to move up. If your teammate calls out an opper somewhere on the map, and you haven't heard any footsteps or grenades used in underground, it's probably safe enough to move up, where you can expect maybe a single player or maybe 2 riflers doing some sort of bait setup. Taking a duel like this, where you're able to clear one angle at a time, is good because it gets your team more info and map control without having to dedicate too many resources. This in turn makes it more scary for the CTs to stay close middle or in the party balloons area, because they're exposed to another angle and they'll fall back to a more passive position and give up more ground. Switching over to communication, and yes, communication is a part of fundamentals. You want to always give the best information without stress, excitement, or being too loud. Unless you're damn sure that there's 5 enemies flying out at you all at the same time, and your team needs to drop everything that they're doing and come help, you should never be shouting something like, "Beep, beep, 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 beep." That's a terrible call. You want to make sure that you're calling numbers of opponents that are there, and you can do this by actually seeing them, by counting how many grenades they threw, and you can say at least X amount of enemies here, or minimum X amount of enemies. This way, your teammates will not drop their guard, and they'll be cognizant of an enemy trying to get a lurk kill on them. Beyond that, you should only be raising your voice, not yelling, when you have important information that needs to be heard. This can be done if you're about to flank, and you need your teammates to stop trying to do too much, or if there's just a bunch of useless chatter and your call is more important. Calmly speak louder and say what needs to be said. Repeating comms is also a bad habit that I think just about everyone is a victim of. Realistically though, there's very rarely a need to repeat calls, especially multiple times. If your teammate has not responded to you saying something, address them by name and repeat the comm, or repeat the comm calmly, or rephrase it. For example, if an enemy is out middle in Mirage during an A hit, you can say, "One out middle," and if your teammate that is near connector doesn't react to it, you can say, "So-and-so, one is out middle," or "Careful connector from middle." It doesn't require you to start wildly shouting, "Mid, mid, 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 mid! Out mid, one out mid behind you!" As it might be annoying for your teammates who is in a battle on A and might need to focus and hear footsteps. I hope this episode of the Predator Training Room helped you, and if it did, be sure to check out other Training Room videos. The Training Room is a hub for mental, physical, and strategic insights from top esports pros.